get started. Okay, so what we're doing, there's no right or wrong answers for this. You're just going to talk about whatever you think inside of your head. Anything that's going on in your mind, I want to know about it. So we have two different liquids here. What's this one?
Water.
Obviously water. And this one is vegetable oil. Do you know anything about water and oil?
A little bit.
Like what? What do you know about water?
You can drink it.
Mm-hmm.
You
What
can
else?
find water in like lakes and like ponds and creeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay. What do you know about oil?
Oil, you use it like to run some vehicles. And,
That's right.
Like, I don't know.
What is this oil used for?
Making vegetables or like putting it on top of vegetables.
Kind of. It's made out of vegetables, but do you know what we use it for? Like,
Food.
have you ever seen your mom make brownies or cake or something?
Oh,
This is what you use to make certain foods. Okay, so what do you think happens if we take oil and water and put them together? Do you have any idea?
It gets maybe like fuzzy. The water gets like sort of like bubbly and fuzzy.
Okay, let's try. And put a little in.
Oh.
My water jar smells like salsa because it had salsa in it. So tell me what's happening.
There's all the bubbles are lots of bubbles are. It's the color of this. All the
Yeah.
bubbles are turning and going onto the top.
So what does that tell you? What do you think is happening? Do you see any of that color down in the bottom?
No,
So what do you
it's all
think?
on the top. Maybe the water is like.
What does it look like? If you look from the side,
It just looks clear right there from the side. But if you look on top, there's a little bit of bubbles, but all the bubbles are going away. So is it like?
does it look like they mix together?
No, because if it mixed together, it would be some down here.
So what do you think is happening with the oil?
The water's like. Maybe the water is like pushing it up because the water and that don't mix.
Right, they don't mix. What do you think would happen if we shook it up really hard?
It will get really, really bubbly and fuzzy.
Do you think it would mix together? Let's try it. Give it a really
Maybe
good
actually
mix.
not. I don't think it would.
What do you mean? Why'd you change your mind?
Because if it doesn't, I was just thinking more, if it doesn't mix here, then how would it mix if you shake it? It wouldn't really make a difference.
Okay. Shake it hard. It's kind of looking cloudy. What do you see?
It looks like just a white.
It looks like there's soap bubbles.
It looks just whitish. Like, just became like the water and the oil mixed, and then it became sort of like foamy, like fuzzy, like when you would pour pop into a cup, it would get all fuzzy. That's basically what's happening.
As we keep watching it, what's happening now?
Now it just the oil is going up to the top again.
It's separating again. Why do you think that's happening?
Because it just might, maybe the water can't like absorb like another liquid, maybe.
Interesting. Do you know anything about molecules? Have you learned at all in school about molecules? What molecules are?
No.
What if I told you that water and oil are both made up of molecules, and that the molecules in water are a certain way and the molecules in oil are a certain way? If I told you that one of them has closer molecules than the other, which one would you guess would have closer molecules? So molecules are like, let me draw you a picture. So this is water, let's say, and this is oil, let's say. And inside of each of them are these molecules, which we're going to draw them like little circles. If I draw the water molecules like this, Molecules are what give water and oil their weight, how heavy they are, how dense they are. If you had to draw oil molecules, what would they look like? Draw them on there. Think about where the water is. Think about where the oil is. So every little drop of water is made up of these.
Like smaller. So
Why would you make them smaller?
because that the molecules means that because there's more, there would probably be. That's much heavier because there's more molecules than that. But it could have the same amount, but that one just has to be smaller because that's on top and that's the bottom.
So what do you think the smaller size means?
It's lighter.
Lighter. Okay. Do you know anything about density? Like, if something is really, really dense, do you think that it's really heavy or really light?
Heavy.
So, water would be more dense or less dense?
More dense.
Why do you think?
Because I think dense is more heavier, and that stuff is on the top, so that means like it would be more heavy.
The water would be more heavy.
The water would be more heavy, so that's
right.
much lighter. Because if this was heavy, this would be at the bottom, and that would be all filling up the top.
You're right. What do you think? So, have you ever heard of an oil spill? Like a big, but what is an oil spill? What do you think?
It's like an oil spill in like the ocean, maybe?
Yeah, what is it?
Like a big boat that's like carrying like fish to place, the oil tank all the oil tanks start like having cracks in them, so it all spills, and the animal and like the fish and all the birds that go in there get like really sick and really sticky, like their wings probably can't move after a couple of days.
Right, that's right. So, looking at our oil on top of the water mixture here, what do you think happens when a big oil spill happens in the ocean?
Oh, the oil goes on top of the water, not under it?
Right. Now I'm going to have you do something else. Stick your finger straight in and pull it straight out. All the way in. Can you reach? Okay, now pull it out. What do you notice on your finger? Look close.
It looks like water.
Look really close and go like this.
It feels gooey.
Doesn't feel like water. What does it feel like?
It feels like oil.
Like the oil.
It feels weird.
So, you were talking about the animals in an oil spill and what happens to them. Tell me more about that. And use your finger as an example.
Like, it gets sort of like...
What if your finger was a duck?
It would get, like, really dirty and, like, slimy, and it would, like, get really sick because of it.
So that would be like the oil spill.
It wouldn't be as easy to catch, like, fish, because their beaks would be slippery.
Right. So, knowing that oil is less dense than water and it sits on top of the water, how do you think scientists can use this to help when there is an oil spill?
Maybe they could, so if help the science, if there's like oil spill, maybe like they know that the animals that like are at the bottom wouldn't be harmed, but the ones at the top, they would need to like get them and clean them.
Sure. And this could also help them in cleaning up the oil because they know, do they have to go way down here?
No, all they have to do is like go probably on the top and maybe a tiny bit under it.
Right. Do you know anything about how they clean up oil when it spills?
No.
Sometimes they use like these big machines that are like vacuums. So they'll put a vacuum machine right on top of the water and they'll scoop it all up in the vacuum. Other times they use these big puffy things like marshmallows and they soak up all of the oil that's just sitting on the top, and that's how they can clean up oil spills. Your hands are pretty dirty. You want to wash them?
Okay.
We're done. Thanks for helping.
That's it.